welcome back. Welcome back to the Rugby Connection podcast, the return of Murray. We haven't recorded in the last week purely because Murray was on holiday having a well-deserved break. And you had a bit of internet issue in Turkey, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't get internet. And the hotel, not at all. Everywhere else I went on that holiday, I had full bars. I could do TikToks and all that, but I couldn't sit in a pub and do a podcast episode as much as I would love to.
But we'll quickly cover the week that we missed. The quarterfinals.
Yes.
Of the Rugby World
Cup. Games ever.
Two of the best games I think that will ever occur in a Rugby World Cup, in rugby in general. I thought after watching that New Zealand-Ireland game, I thought, Christ, this is the best quarterfinal I've ever seen in my life. And then as a Springboks supporter watching that Springboks-France game, I thought, Christ, this is the best game I've ever watched in my life.
Either way, I prefer the Ireland-New Zealand game, but I think it's because I was potentially more sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But, I mean, I can't say it on this because it would get in trouble, but I did text you what my non-rugby friend thought of the Chess and Colby try.
Yes. Yes.
He's not wrong.
He is something special, that boy. But there's just obviously a few people saying that the semi-finals were kind of played early. Obviously, the draw of the World Cup. Yeah, the draw of the World Cup, meaning that the top four teams in the world faced each other in the quarterfinals. A lot of people, rightfully so, predicting France and Ireland to go all the way, and would have probably have bet France and Ireland to be playing this coming weekend. But a bit of a defiant Southern Hemisphere force came upon France. And against all odds, because both teams had lost games at the pool stages.
Yeah, unprecedented in the World Cup.
Yeah, both teams had opposition who were on top form, who hadn't lost a game in God knows how long. And both teams came out on top. It's almost like a fairy tale, and I seen something that gave me the kind of feels, because obviously South Africa and New Zealand, when it comes to rugby, the Springboks and the All Blacks have a special relationship where number one rivals, but we respect each other more than any other team. And obviously New Zealand lost to France in the pools, and South Africa lost to Ireland in the pools, and we got revenge for one another.
Shake each other's hand and we'll sort of praise, boys. There you go.
But no,
very poetic. I've just clicked to that whole thing.
When I seen that, and I realised that after the Springboks game, about half an hour after the Springboks game, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, wow, that's it. Kind of, because as a Springboks fan, like, I don't think anyone can quite understand the sort of respect and the relationship we have with the Kiwis in terms of, the Springboks have the greatest winning percentage over the All Blacks. The All Blacks have the greatest winning percentage over the Springboks. We are arch rivals, but we are also brothers in arms. It's something. It's something special that just goes past sports, and it just felt good. It was a real feel good weekend. I can't say too much for this weekend because it almost killed me. But
we'll get into it. We'll get into it because just our luck that the week I return, all the rugby's back.
All the rugby's back. Yes,
we to clarify, we have Rugby World Cup semi-finals. WXV is very well and truly underway. 1, 2, and 3. URC started this weekend, and Premiership is also back.
We're back to our usual loaded schedule.
Here we go. Right, I'm going to take off the small bit first, just to break it down. Easy. Yes. So, WXV1 started this week over New Zealand. England getting a big win over the Wallaroos, 42 points to 7. Holly Aitchison, 100% off the kick and tee. Hats off to you. Canada versus Wales. I thought it was going to be a bit closer than this, but Canada, again, just pay them. How they're not professional yet baffles me. 42-22 over Wales. And then the big one for WXV1, the defending world champions, the Black Ferns, taking on Le Bleu in Wellington as the homecoming for the Black Ferns. And they lost by a point, 18-17 to France.
There seems to be a lot of that going around right now. 1-point games.
Very close games indeed. WXV2 is in week 2, same with WXV3. USA versus Samoa. Oh, no, that's last week. Sorry, ignore me. Ignore that. USA versus Scotland this week. Big win for the girls for Scotland, 24-14.
Massive win.
4 wins in a row for Scotland women.
Against a very, very capable USA team.
Oh, absolutely.
So massive win for your girls.
I gave your girls a bit too much credit in the predictions. I thought they were going to win against the Azzurri, and no. 36-18. Not quite. You are improving week on week, which is
the whole getting there. We've still got a long way to go to catch up with the rest of the women's game, but we are getting there. I think it's similar to how your girls, have been progressing in the last couple of years. I feel like we're starting to take those steps, and hopefully within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to be able to compete right up on the top level stage in the women's game.
Well, that's what the WXV is for, is to develop the women's game. Last game for WXV2 this week, Japan versus Samoa. I was really disappointed. I was wanting Samoa to do a big win. They really impressed me last week against the States, and Japan just went, no, 32-10 to Japan.
Ugh.
Nice. But WXV3, which is obviously the lowest division, but still some impressive rugby. Kazakhstan versus Kenya. Not two teams you really mention when it comes to 15s, but Kazakhstan getting their first ever win. So, massive praise regardless. Spain versus Fiji. Now, I thought Fiji was going to win this, but Spain went, nah, it's fine. 26-19. Happy days. And then Ireland, they're really annoyed about something because they beat Kazakhstan in week 1, 109 points to 0. And then they beat poor Colombia this week, 64-3. Ouch. Yeah. But there we go. And we'll just finish off with Premiership because you've been a bit busy.
I've been busy. I can cover the URC this week, but Premiership, I have not watched any.
We'll get there. I'm just going to rattle them off like I just did there. Prem week 2, because again we missed week 1 because I was on my holidays. Newcastle versus Gloucester, 18-14 to Gloucester, but Adam Radwan's try, somebody stop that man. He did a pirouette in midfield and still ran it in.
Easy.
What?
Made it look easy.
Anyway, Finn Russell's bath. I really like saying that.
Finn Russell, oh my God.
Finn Russell's bath beating Saracens, 25 points to 16, and first try for Bath. Finn Russell flicks it at the back to Tom de Glanville.
Disgusting. You would think Finn Russell would be a bit knackered after a World Cup. No, he's straight back in the mix.
Straight back in. Love it. We just love it.
I feel like that man's carrying a chip on his shoulder now. I think he's just going to run the Premiership.
I think he's just going to take control. Well, that's Bath 2 for 2.
Oh, go on, Bath. Let's get a title in it.
Northampton Saints versus the Bristol Bears, 33-27 to the Bears.
Oof, close one.
That was good. That was a good game.
Good.
And a lot of young lads.
Premiership rugby.
Still mental that Bears signed Vakatawa, sorry.
A return to glory.
He's like a fine wine. He's just got better. I don't know what he did when he was away from the game, but welcome back. Well deserved. You've been missed.
Love to see it.
Sale Sharks got a big win on the road at Welford Road against Leicester Tigers, 24 points to 17. Sale really haven't lost anyone during this international.
No.
So they're just full whack all the time.
Carrying on their form from last season.
And it went belly up for me today as Quins beat Exeter Chiefs 22-14. But credit to Quins. Lewis Liner's back on top form, he scored an absolute worldie. Will Joseph, the younger brother of Jonathan Joseph, special. Alex Dombrand, you were talking about chip on the shoulder, match winning turnover.
Oh.
Clinical. And he even made the tackle, released, showed the ref, I've not got him, straight back over, give me the ball. Beautiful stuff.
Perfect.
Excellent as in a fresh period. All the big names
you lost a lot of players
are away, but hey, the future's very bright. This team every story has bumps in it.
Yeah,
I'll take an 8-point defeat to Quins.
exactly.
Anyway,
Do you want me to
now
rattle through the URC results, the first round?
I'll let you do. I'll take it. You could have it now. Yes.
So obviously URC, my favourite competition when it comes to club rugby, has returned, and my God, it's returned with a bang. The first
Oh,
game on the Saturday, Zebre back to their old tricks of started the season strong. Zebre versus Ulster, 40 points to 36, a win for Ulster, a squeaky win. The Zebre did this the start of last season, and then they fell off. Can we finally see Zebre continue some good form throughout the season and get a win, maybe?
I kind of hope so.
Anyways, talking about continuing from last season, Connacht versus Ospreys. Connacht losing none of their form.
No.
34-26 over the Ospreys at home. Yeah, very good start to the season for the boys in green. Dragons versus Edinburgh. A close one for your boys, but 22-17. Ben Healy masterclass.
Ben Healy is the man.
He is the man. Good start for your boys. A little bit of a derby here again. What a game this was. Stormers versus the Lions. 35-33, a 2-point victory for the previous champions. The Lions pitched up for short, just falling short at the end. Sasha Umgoma-Zolu, he is one for the future. Definitely hope to see him in the green and gold one day. Cardiff versus Benetton. I'm so happy to see this. A 1-point win. We said it's a trend. Benetton getting the job done away in Cardiff. The Italian teams coming out fighting in this first round. And they're not so good. My Sharks on the road. Very tough start to our season, but, against worthy opponents, the reigning champions of the URC. Munster beat us 34-21. And the Sharks, unfortunately, just didn't look with it during that game. Munster, even with a bunch of their key players still missing, looked clinical as ever. And then today we had two very big games. The Bulls making a statement at home against the travelling Scarlets, 63-21. The Bulls are looking to reclaim their crown as the best South African province. And then Glasgow, coming out of nowhere, beating Leinster 43-25.
There's going to be people out there that Leinster didn't go full whack. Shut up. You play with what's in front of you.
You play the team you've got.
Oh, it was so good. I know I'm an Edinburgh fan. I'm happy that we got our win. Ben Healy, hats off to you. You're the man. But this Glasgow game, George Horn, 100th appearance for Warriors, 10 seconds off the bench. Run again. There must be something about the Scotland players that were at the World Cup that are now just
they're just letting out all that anger,
letting out all the built up frustration. And you know what? Keep it going.
I'm here for it.
Be pissed off this whole season, boys. Just keep it going. And you said it was your favourite club competition. I think it's the podcast as well, because we do a little thing at the start of the season. We put it out on Instagram.
We have so many.
We have 20 guests.
20 URC representatives that we've had on the show that Murray's interviewed. We've had some of them on as co-hosts. This podcast and the URC go hand in hand. Let's hope for more guests this season.
Yeah. We've got some in the Prem, but with three teams sadly going into administration, a lot of them's moved to the URC.
Prem's not going to feel the same without the likes of London Irish tearing it up, getting those upset wins. It's not going to feel the same, but with some big signings in the Prem, I've got good feeling about this season. Hopefully, after England doing quite well in the World Cup, better than expected, hopefully the RFU will start making moves to improve the game and improve the situation of English rugby.
Agreed. Well, it was a nice little segue there, Cam, because we're in to the Rugby World Cup semi-finals.
Oh, You do New Zealand, Argentina. I need to build up what
Okay,
the hell I'm
we'll
going to
start
say
with,
about England, South Africa.
we'll start with the Friday Night Lights. All Blacks versus Los Pumas. It was more like kittens.
Yeah, the Lost Kittens.
Lost kittens. That was oh, I don't know what happened. I expect it doesn't matter what team it is. If you're this far in a tournament, show me you want to win it.
But you know when a few people had said it's worrying because in the quarters they felt like maybe um the All Blacks and the Springboks had already almost played their final, given everything they had.
Oh, yeah.
The Pumas did, I think, very much the same against Wales
Just gave it.
because for a
Yeah.
lot of that game they were behind, and
Mm-hmm.
just through tenacity and just a will to win, they managed to outplay the Welsh with experience and clinical off the kicking tee. Um, but I really do think it rings true for this Pumas team because it's a shame because they are a quality team. They haven't had the
Yeah.
best year. Seen this exact team beat world beaters. You know, they've beaten the All Blacks, they've beaten Australia, they've beaten England in Twickenham. You know, they're a good side on the day, but I do feel like they had played their final already, and I just feel like against
That's
the
too
All
far.
Blacks in the mood they are, yeah,
I
it was
mean,
a shame to see. It was a shame to see.
but sticking with the boys in black, WJ14. Well, Jordan, 8 tries with one. He's going to beat John's record, isn't he?
If he gets one in the final, then he is the first player in World Cup history to score 9 tries. Now, the current holders is joint between Lomu,
Mm-hmm.
Habana, and Sarvea. Uh,
Julian, not Ardy.
yeah,
Oh,
Julian Sarvea, just to clarify.
bye.
Um, and Will Jordan has joined that elite group, only the fourth member to score 8 tries in a World Cup. And with a game in hand and on the form he is in, if you look at his tries scored to games, has he scored more tries than games played now? He must have.
How many games has he played? 4? 5? 4, because he missed 2 at the pools.
No, I'm talking about in
Oh,
general.
yeah. Oh, in his whole career. Yeah, sorry.
He's
31 tries,
scored
30
more
caps.
tries
Yeah.
than he's played games at this
Yeah.
point, which is just
Unreal.
baffling to think about. I don't think
Freak.
there's another winger that compares to his try scoring um, ability
Just
in the
ridiculous.
world at this
But
moment.
there's games that he's quiet, shall we say.
And then there's
Wins
a
by
game that he'll just get a hat trick.
hat trick. I mean, he's never scored just 1 try this World Cup. It's
Oh,
a minimum 2. Freak of nature.
and then you've got the likes of Mark Talea on the other wing. Oh,
Mark Paleo was a naughty boy for the quarterfinals,
he
so I
was a
hear.
naughty boy. He went out after curfew, tut tut. But Leicester Fayanganuku in the quarterfinal. I just want to say, my God, what a way to step up to the plate and cement your place in that team for the future. I think definitely.
And you know what's making me laugh about this? The only negative I've seen about the All Blacks win for the semi final is that Richie Mwanga didn't pass the ball to Will Jordan for number 9. I'm like,
Oh, imagine.
don't do it in the semi final. Do it in the final. Save it. Simple.
No,
Anyway,
don't, because I don't want you scoring against the Springboks.
anyway,
Okay,
you've
let me
had time to breathe about it.
England versus Springboks. Now, the Springboks, very similar to the All Blacks, have had it tough. They've had to do this World Cup the hard way. We've had to play in the pool stages an absolutely electric Scottish team who were top five, and then the best team in the world who we fell short of. And then come the quarterfinals, we only had to go on and take on the hosts, which were by far, I'd say, the favourites for the competition alongside Ireland, with a 1 point victory over them. And then the atmosphere around this semi-final was very similar to what it was around the All Blacks Pumas final. And everybody thought we were gonna absolutely trouse England, but I'm not just saying this in hindsight. I genuinely said before the game. Obviously, I live in Wales. A lot of Welsh friends and that work with Not too much love for the English over here, and everybody was saying, your boys are going to absolutely give the English a hammering. And I said, no. I said, I believe the England are going to keep the game tight. They're going to be annoying to play. They're going to kick the leather out of the ball. They're going to try keep the ball in play time to a minimum. And you know what? That's exactly what they did. I predicted the Springboks by 10 points.
Oh,
It ended up being a point. And you know what? I have to give so much credit to England because on the night, they were the better team. They were the better team for 77 minutes of that game. We are very, very privileged that we have such quality on our bench. Oxton Shea, I feel like single-handedly won the Springboks that
yeah.
game. Archie Snyman, with his ability to sort of galvanize the forwards around him, getting the try, the crucial try. Dion Fourie making that initial break, aged like fine wine. And the Iceman himself, Andre Pollard, the greatest fly half in South African history. I'm saying it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Ice cold, kicked the penalty to take us ahead. You know
So,
what? So much credit to England. No one expected them to get this far. I have developed a new respect for this English team after that game because nobody gave them a chance to even make it past the quarters, let alone push the current number one team in the world and the world champions to a point and
yeah.
lead the game for 77 minutes. But if anything, the last two games have shown me, the last two 1 point victories have shown me about our Springbok team is that regardless of how awful we are playing, because that was one of the worst Springbok performances I've seen in the last 4 years.
Okay.
In fact, that's one of the worst Springbok performances I've seen since the 57-0 back in 2017. How we got that win is still a bit beyond me. But what it does show me is that regardless of the circumstances, this team has the heart and the pure will to win. And we step into the final now against the old foe, our greatest rival.
Just before we get into predictions and finals and all that, Owen Farrell, the best drop goal I think I've ever seen.
All-time English point scorer, the greatest.
Had England got to the final?
No, actually, no. The greatest English fly half.
Is he better than Johnny?
He's taken Johnny in points.
He has, yes.
And how long have England relied on Owen Farrell? We thought that George Ford had surpassed him in the pool stages when he kicked his hat trick of drop goals. Everyone was saying George Ford in, Farrell out. Farrell came back. A clinical performance against Fiji, a clinical performance against the Springboks. Unlucky to fall short of us. I'm very happy they did. But from an England perspective, very unlucky. Owen Farrell, for me, just like Andre Pollard, is now the best fly half England has ever seen.
So Owen's overtaken Johnny, and Andre's overtaken.
Andre's overtaken Christ.
Morning Stain?
Mornay Stain, the Lion Slayer, but has Mornay Stain taken us to 2 World Cup finals?
Don't think Morning Stain ever got to a World Cup final.
Exactly. Mornay Stain is the GOAT when it comes to Lions tours. Andre Pollard is the GOAT when it comes to World Cups for South Africa.
Then Owen Farrell is just the English GOAT. Point proven. Yeah.
I'd argue it. I genuinely.
I think the only thing.
And kicked a drop goal to win a World Cup. That was nearly 2 decades. Actually, no, it was. It was 2 decades. It was 2 decades ago.
Good math.
Owen Farrell has been the main man for Christ as long as I can remember now.
If I can remember correctly, and I could be wrong, wasn't Farrell the one to fill Wilkinson's boots?
He
It was,
was
wasn't it? It was, yeah.
a very much Johnny Sexton O'Gara-esque transition.
I know I'm got no more Sexton either. It
No
was
more
really the end of an
Sexton.
era.
Yeah. Also, his country's highest World Cup point scorer.
Well, he is the best Irish player ever. Not just 10, ever. I think he's better than Bod.
You know
What he
what?
has done, what
I'll
he
give
has
it to
done
him.
for his country.
I'm not the biggest Johnny Sexton fan. I do think he's a bit of a whiny git sometimes. But regardless of all of that, Johnny Sexton has cemented himself as Ireland's guy. And as much as he drives me up the wall, it's gonna be it's gonna something's gonna feel missing not seeing him in a green jersey come the Six Nations and come the other internationals.
So I'm just going to quickly do a head-to-head comparison, and then I'll let you decide. I know what you said, but so Johnny Wilkinson has a Premiership
Mm-hmm.
and a Power Gen Cup. I imagine that's like the old, like the Prem Cup.
Maybe.
Twice, sorry. One Prem, two cups with Newcastle.
Yep.
He has two Heineken Cups and a top 14 with Toulon. And for England, he has 4 Six Nations, 1 Grand Slam, 3 Triple Crowns, and a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Farrell, I don't know why they didn't include this for Wilkinson, but it says British and Irish Lions, but Wilkinson's been a Lion.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, anyway, we'll ignore that. He has 6 Premiership titles with Saracens,
Mm-hmm.
an RFU Championship,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 Heineken Cups.
Yep.
He has, for England, World Cup runner-up, 3 Six Nations,
Mm-hmm.
3 Triple Crowns,
Mm-hmm.
6 Hurkut Cups, which shut up,
Yep.
2 Summer Internationals, and 1 Autumn Nations Cup. They've written it very differently, and I don't know why. But yeah,
Owen
it's
Farrell, man. Owen Farrell.
so Wilkinson for internet. I know he's more points for England, but Wilkinson has 7 tries for England and scored 1,246 points.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Who designed this? Aha, right. So it says as of 4th of August.
Yeah.
Take that with a pinch of salt. Owen Farrell was at 1,181, but as we've said, he is now the all-time point scorer. So, list of tries 10. It's literally just it's just a Webby Ellis trophy. That is the difference, and I don't think that is the be all and end all.
No, I would agree, and I think it's so long ago. I'd argue a point where rugby wasn't nearly as competitive as it is now. And Owen Farrell, with his England teams, have for long periods been the dominant force in Europe, one of the dominant forces in world rugby, competing against top competition. So it feels weird me gassing up Owen Farrell. I don't like it. But after that game, like I said, respect where respect is due. I tip my hat to that English team.
I have got just a question to you as a South African fan, just before we do move on, because we've spoke about this in depth, but it's a good thing. Was it tactics by Razzie and Jacques, or was it fuck off, you're ruining this game? The man one felt personal. That felt like you're going to lose us this game. Get off.
Yeah, it's a tough one for a young player like Manny to take, definitely. He's had a rocky road with the Springboks. It doesn't take away from how good of a player he is.
No.
The way I saw it is the style of rugby that England were playing and the conditions. It was wet, regardless. There's no excuse. But more so the style of rugby that England were playing Manny was unable to deal with it. So
Okay.
you bring on Andre Pollard, the experienced campaigner, the man who took England out in the last World Cup final. You bring him on, a calm head, the Iceman, and he's one of the
Ben Healy is the Iceman. We've established this. Ben Healy's got more points this week than Andre Pollard. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Is Ben Healy in the World Cup final?
We weren't going to get to a final.
Yeah, obviously it's gonna be a bit gut wrenching for Manny, and I do feel for him. But World Cup semi-finals on the line, a place in the finals on the line. If you have to knock a player's confidence just a little bit to ensure the win, then unfortunately it's what we have to do. But I'm sure the team will get around Manny and throughout the next week and whatnot. I don't think it will affect him in the long run, and I'm sure he'll have a glistening Springbok career in the future. But yesterday we needed Andre Pollard, and we received Andre Pollard.
There you go. Right. Predictions. Where will we start? Actually, you know what? We'll go clubs. We'll go clubs into internationals. That's how we'll do. So, week 3, which is already minging to think about in my head, that is week 3 of the Premiership.
Already.
Starting on Friday night, we're down at Kingsholm, Gloucester versus Saracens.
Gloucester versus Saris. You know what? I'm going to give it to Gloucester.
That's fine. So I generally believe Saracens will struggle until Farrell
because they've got a lot of players in that England team. Earl, Atoje, Farrell, to name a few.
Yeah,
That's
crazy. But yeah, I think Gloucester again haven't really been affected by the World Cup.
No.
They might actually have Lucy Summit back. I don't know. I don't know how because he's a Prem player. So like Finn Russell straight back in. So probably most likely Chris Harris.
It'll be good.
Anyway, Saturday we have 3 games on Saturday. We have Bristol versus Quins. I'm very excited about this.
I'd have to give it to the Quins,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Quins.
I'm going to go Bears. I think Bears have really... I know it's took very early on to say, but it feels like they've solved their problem. It's just what I feel like. But so I'll go Bears. It's going to be close.
It will be a tight game. It'll be a hell of a tight game.
Exeter versus Sale at Sandy Park.
Like you said, you've got a very new team, a team that is yet to gel. Sale very much unchanged. So I'm sorry, Murray, but I'm going to have to give it to Sale for this game.
That's fine. I get your reasoning, but I can't because
got to back your boys.
Back your team. So Chiefs to win, and I don't care by how much. This game, I'm very excited about. It kind of lost its feel the last few seasons, but it's still a historic rivalry. Bath hosting Leicester Tigers.
Ooh. Are we going to see another Finn Russell masterclass?
Probably.
I'd love to see Bath do it, I'd love to see Bath be in a Prem final this year.
Oh, every final predictions. I love it.
I'm fully behind Bath this season,
You still need to have. You actually still need to have a Prem team.
Oh, it's Leicester Tigers in my Prem team because Andre Pollard and Jasper Wiese there.
Bath's got Thomas Tutoy.
But yeah,
I'm
annoyed at Thomas because he left the Sharks.
Oh.
But I do want to see Bath do well because we saw them a bit resurgent at the end of last season. We thought if Bath can keep this up, they're going to be a force. And with players like old Ollie Lawrence to come back, imagine Ollie Lawrence and Finn Russell linking up. Oh, Murray, I can't fathom it. But yeah,
I'm good with that.
In terms of the players they have right now, I think Finn Russell will be a key difference. I'll give it to Bath this time.
I'm with you. I think Bath's going to go 3 for 3, which when we recorded last season, that was that was a
unheard of.
hurdle.
You wouldn't be able to think about it because Bath were losing week on week by the tightest of margins, but losing nonetheless, weren't they?
Zebre versus Bath would have been blockbuster last year.
It would have been
That hurts to
battle,
say
the battle of the shitters.
Whereas now,
Oh,
sorry, Zebre, you're on your own.
Seeing what Zebra did to Ulster, he'd fucking...
What's this? That tells me that both clubs listen to RCP. We badmouth them enough, and then they start winning.
Must be.
There you go.
To be.
And finally, in the Prem, on the Sunday, up the Toon, Newcastle host Northampton Saints.
Ooh. It's going to have to be the Saints.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be the Saints.
It is.
Right. We've got URC.
We have.
Coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go through them quickly. Ospreys host Zebra.
You know what? It's got to be the Ospreys. It's their first home game. They're really up for it. They had a really good second half against
I'm going to start the URC off with a bang. Zebra to steal the win.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I keep hoping for it, it will happen.
Okay.
This next game could be Titanic. Connacht versus Glasgow.
I mean, it was already going to be a good game, but the results from this week, and I'm 90% convinced that our boy Mac's going to be returning. I think Bunyaki might return.
Oh, yes.
Finlay Bella might be returning.
Oh,
I'm just saying, I don't know.
I personally have to back our mate Byron.
Okay. Oh no, because wait. If you're doing it by pod logic, we have 2 for Connacht and we've got 2 at Glasgow. Kyle Rowe plays for Glasgow now, and so does Sione Vailano.
Yeah, but Byron's my G, so
Byron's my G.
Byron's my G.
You know what? Just because Byron is the only one I've actually sank a pint with, Connacht get the win. That's my. There you go.
Oh, the poor Scarlets, Murray, facing the Stormers in Cape Town.
It didn't go well.
Absolute hammering to the Bulls. It's going to be a similar scoreline to the Stormers.
Yeah, I think Stormers are going to have a bit too much fun with that one. Oh, dear.
Talking about nightmares, my Sharks go to the RDS. But if Glasgow showed us anything, is that this Leinster team is beatable.
The children are, yeah.
Yes. And you know what? I'm not going to put myself up on a pedestal. I would gladly scrape a win against a bunch of Irish children playing for Leinster. Yeah, obviously back your team, Sharks, to steal a win on the road against Leinster.
It's not. Sorry, Cam. I'm thinking like, especially now because they've already had a loss and they went like undefeated last year. Leo Cullen's going to be really annoyed.
Leinster aren't getting to the playoffs this season.
All right, breakdown. Calm down. Jeez, man.
This next game brings back a few bad memories for you, Murray. Doesn't it? Lions versus Edinburgh.
I'm home. I'm getting to go to the Hive.
In the Hive. I keep wanting to call it the Dam, but the Hive.
The Hive's actually better, like, fitting. It's more coloured scheme to Edinburgh's. Anyway.
Can the Lions do it again? They beat you at home last year. Yes, they can.
No, they can't. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, for one, back your team. Back your team's out the window for this. I need to actually be logical right now. Schumann, Nell, Gilchrist, Watson, Mata, maybe. I know he was a quarter-final, so I don't know. Doohan, Ben Healy, Darcy Graham, Boff's not back yet. Kinghorn. We're going to slay. We're going to slaughter some Lions.
But the Lions have Nohamba. They have Chituka. They have Van der Merwe. Coming for you.
We have Van der Merwe.
Yeah, your Van der Merwe is a bit better than ours, but
we have the Van der Merwe. Nick Van der.
Anyways,
Anyway, Edinburgh,
moving on.
comfortable one at home. Back your team. Simples.
Back my fellow South Africans, Lions, to take the win once
We
again.
have South Africa. Wait. We have South Africans. Schumann, Nel, Venter, Lewin De Bruyne, Duhan.
Traitorous South Africans. Back in the boys from Joburg. Benetton versus Munster. Benetton at home. Avenge us, Benetton. Beat Munster. No, Benetton to take.
We're not doing this season.
Oh, I am. It's coming right back, Murray. Benetton, the greatest team in history.
Go away.
Benetton to beat Munster. That's what I'm saying. Dragons versus Cardiff.
That's all right. Don't ask for my prediction.
No, I don't need it because it's Benetton. Okay. It's whatever you say is irrelevant, Murray.
Okay, carry on. That's harsh, but continue.
Go on. Who are you saying?
Munster.
Benetton. Okay. Dragons versus Cardiff. It could be a closer game than we think. The Dragons beat the Scarlets in the pre-season.
Dragons really impressed me. They Steele Tompkinson in the centres and Angus O'Brien at 10. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with them, but they just click, and I'm all for it. I think Cardiff should be too strong.
Should be on paper.
Should be on paper, yeah. So my head says Cardiff, but my heart's kind of leaning towards the Dragons.
Dragons at home.
And they got beat at home. I mean, nothing.
Can they get that home crowd advantage? I'm probably still gonna say Cardiff. Realistically.
What was the point of all that?
Just to add a bit of spice to it all.
Okay.
And the next one, Ulster versus the Bulls. This could be a cracker, Murray.
I'm going Ulster just because it is their first home game of the season.
So boring.
All right.
Bulls.
You're biased as hell, though.
The Oaks from Pretoria.
Oh, God.
If we look at the standings so far, the Bulls are top of the log. So that's all I'm saying. Because we farmed against the Scarlets team.
Horrible logic. But we're now on to international predictions. We're going to start with the girls because WXB 1, 2, and 3 starts, and it's free to watch. I forgot to mention that. It's free. Rugby Pass TV. That is a godsend.
It is a massive godsend.
I love it. Anyway, WXV 1, we have the Red Roses versus Canada. We have a repeat from last year's semi-final.
And it was a close one in the semi-final, wasn't it? Canada pushed hard. But regardless of all that, the Red Roses will take the win.
It's also on ITV.
Ooh.
There you go.
Would you
ITVX, but yeah, still.
Yeah, well, I've been watching all the World Cup on ITVX.
I have been watching it through a VPN because the internet was horrible. Anyway, I think as close as it was, Red Roses have played that few games more, got a grand slam out of it. Red Roses too strong. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, same.
Then we have the hosts, the Black Ferns, taking on Wales.
Black Ferns.
Yeah, it's a repeat of the group stage from last year and the
quarterfinals. I feel like these women's game with the big dogs like England, Black Fern, Red Roses, Black Ferns, and did the French have a funny nickname?
Le Bleu.
Le Bleu Ladies.
That works. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. But speaking of funny nicknames, we have Le Bleu versus the Wallaroos, not the Wallabies, because they're in the mud. Wallaroos.
Yeah, the Wallaroos. Yeah. Wallabies are in the mud. Unfortunately, at the moment, it looks like the Wallaroos are in the mud a bit as well. So Le Bleu are going to take this one by a fair margin.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Le Bleu for the win. WXV2. All three on Rugby Pass this week. Just looking at them. Starting off with Scotland versus Japan.
It's got to be your Scotland girls after the form they've been on.
I'm so buzzing. I'm so see before WXV started. This game would be like, okay, probably beat South Africa because they're not as developed yet. Probably take a hammering off USA like we did last year, and then it'll be very close to go through against Japan. Nah, thumping them girls. My dream has came true. I said it as a joke during the Six Nations, and Brian Easton, head coach of Scotland Women, has listened to my prayers. The back three of Francesca McGee, Rona Lloyd, and Chloe Rowley.
Oh,
beautiful. How many wingers step on the outside and score?
Too many.
On the outside? Out the way.
Oh, fuck. I was going to say, I was like, where's he going with this?
No, step onto the outside, beat them by pace, not get touched, and still score.
Yeah, disgusting.
South Africa versus Samoa. Go on, Cam. This is it. This is going to be physical, by the way. From what I've watched, very physical.
Because our girls bring the physicality as well. Your girls figured that out. But
yes. You are very physical indeed.
Yeah, obviously I've got to back the girls. But Samoa haven't been on too bad a form themselves. So yeah, I'll back the girls. You got to back the girls. I'm hoping we can get the ball rolling a bit. We can show that, South Africa is not just a men's rugby nation. Our girls can compete on the top level as well. So it's still a building stage for us, but, let's claim Samoa and see how we go from there.
There you go. And last for WXV2, USA versus the Azzurri, Italy.
Ooh.
That is a tasty game.
Ooh.
I'm very excited for that.
That is a good one, isn't it?
Just on form, I'm going for Italy.
It's got to be the Azzurri. It's got to be the Italian ladies.
I would not be surprised if USA pull it out, though.
Come back with a vengeance, because they're going to be pissed after losing to your girls, especially after the result last year.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to be pissed.
What difference a year makes. Anyway, finally, WXV3, Kazakhstan versus Fiji.
Oh, Fiji to run away with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The flying Fijian ladies. Oh.
You sounded a bit too excited for that one.
Well, I just remember watching them at the Commonwealth Games. Jesus. Very good.
Nice little throwback there. I like that. Kenya versus Colombia.
God, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
That's like points scored. I'm going to have to go Kenya. Colombia.
I've got to go off Kenya just based on because I've seen them at sevens level.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So,
this one could be interesting though. Ireland versus Spain.
That is a very interesting one. Both teams coming off.
Don't sleep on that game either.
Don't sleep on that game. The Irish girls have been on a rampage. They've
scored very comfortably. I think they'll still win, but I don't think it'll be a runaway.
Yeah, I think they continue their form. I think Spain will play a hell of a game. Again, a team Spain, I haven't seen too much of them. Obviously, Ireland, see them in the Six Nations. So, I'll back the Irish girls. Hopefully, after this competition, they can start climbing the ladder back up, to join their Six Nations counterparts.
Fair enough. And last but not least, we have the Rugby World Cup. We've got third place, or bronze final, if you call it, and the big one, the blockbuster, the main event, the coup de grace. We'll start with third. Calm down. Jesus. What the hell? What a noise. England or Los Pumas?
I can't see past England after that semi-final.
This is what annoys me about Argentina. Because looking at the semi-finals, clear as day, England are getting third.
I would love Argentina to do it, and we have 3 rugby championship teams taking gold, silver, and bronze, and then we can really stick it up to the Northern Hemisphere. Ooh, Northern Hemisphere dominance. Ooh. Yeah, no.
You know what? Just for that, I'm saying England. Bugger you. No, I'm not having that. In my head, I'd like Argentina to do it, but again,
I think it will be England as well. But Argentina just come back with an absolute steamer and get revenge for that pool stage game.
it goes full circle. Yeah. Oh well, I've said what I've said. No, there's not actually any point asking.
Can I just say that Murray has just backed England?
Yeah, you praised them. You were like
I
right up
praised
on
them, but I wouldn't back them.
You said England would win.
I said England would win on like in my head, England will win, but I'm backing Los Pumas to do it.
Well, that's what I said. I'd like Argentina to do it, but I think England will. Timo. Timo, check. Check. Yeah. I said England will win, but I'd like Argentina
I'll
to.
give you it, but
Yeah.
you're on thin ice, mate. You're on thin ice.
Okay. You're not gonna like me anyway.
No, because I can see by the jersey. I know you're ever since your boys bombed it out in the fucking pool stages.
Fuck off, man. Spell butters.
Oh, Mike, this is gonna be one for the ages. Well, we played each other twice this year. They've gotten one win. We've gotten one win.
Winner takes all. First to four wins.
The first to four winner
I
takes.
know, no, that wasn't a counting mistake. It is first four World Cups is what I was meaning, not fourth game. Don't worry. I knew what I meant. I knew what I meant. Yeah, it's going to be great.
This has the makings to be the best ever final.
Shall we run it back from 95? That's mental that was the last time that was a final.
95 World Cup. We've been deprived of an All Black Springboks World Cup final since 1995. We were so close to having it in 2019, and then England had to spoil the party. But then we got to whip them 32-12. Just remember that, England. Yeah.
Can we just run it back to like 2015 when I got into the quarters? Actually, no, because we got robbed in 2015. Run it back to like 2007.
Oh yeah, who won it that year?
I don't know. They never talk about it. But it's going to be a banger of a match. It's going to be very tight. I'm going for the All Blacks more just because it's really eating away at Cam and it's funny.
I'm going for the Springboks to take their place as the greatest ever rugby team to grace a World Cup.
Just wait a minute, just to let this sink in, because you know what's going to happen if you do win. You are going to get Kiwis. Yeah, but you still didn't do back to back. You still weren't first to do back to back.
Don't care. We were first to get four.
Yeah, I know. But you know,
it doesn't matter. We can do everything you can do, just better.
Okay, cool. Shall we do a live? I'm just putting this out there before we sign off. Shall we do a live stream for the third place?
Yeah,
I'm not
we'll do a live stream for the third for the third fourth playoff. The World Cup final. I'm going to be in a pub somewhere.
That's fine. I'm
my head off.
I'm in Edinburgh anyway, because Edinburgh's first home game at home this year is the same day as the Rugby World Cup final, and it's also the same day as Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou.
Fury's going to wipe the floor with him.
Probably, but that's not the point. £22 to see an ass whooping. What's the point? Anyway, we're back, and all the rugby's now. We're now into just full go. That's great.
Full go mode.
It's good to be back.
Oh, Murray, I don't think my heart can take a World Cup final if it's that intensity again.
I was going to ask, could you handle a third 1 point win in a row?
Yes, if it wins us a World Cup, damn right I could. For the 80 minutes of the game, I might be close to heart failure, but it's a near death experience is worth seeing the Springboks lift the fourth trophy. If I have to watch it on my phone in A&E after cardiac arrest and we lift that trophy, it'll be all worth it.
Well,
I'm all worried about my liver because that thing's battering.
Yeah, that's going to get an absolute hammer.
Yes, the amount of lager I've been drinking.
Oh well, this has been the Rugby Connection podcast. Cam might be back next week. I don't know.
I will be, regardless of the result. I will be back.
Don't do it from the hospital bed, please.
I might be. It depends. It depends what happens.
Jeez. Anyway, this is Rugby Connection podcast. We're back. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. I'm on LinkedIn, but it's been a bit quiet because, yeah, we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. The TikTok's going well now.
It is. It's going very well.
We have found a format, how our videos, and it works.
It works.
So, we're sticking to it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. One of us will be happy. Me, probably.
At least one of us got to a World Cup final.
You hear that? Nah, I don't hear that. Anyway, see you later.
Cheers, guys.